Hi, 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 hi. Okay. Do you know who Govinda is? How about his more famous friend, Siddhartha? And if you're thinking about Siddhartha the Prince or Siddhartha Gautama Buddha, we're on the same page now. Okay. I have some notes here from Siddhartha by Hernan Rees. I wanted to read some of the notes because I think the author has created a great symphony and how he has uh, weaved both the story and the words together. I don't want to miss the important parts. But first, I want to clarify some misconception, or at least a misconception to me. I thought Siddhartha was your typical royalty prince. Apparently, he's not. He's a prince among the Brahmins. So the Brahmins is a knowledgeable priest class in India, and I'm not sure though if they still have this class in modern India. I don't know. But in the story, Siddhartha comes from a family of Brahman. And if you think about it, and we put it on the modern context of the equivalent of those Brahman class, he's a member of the 1 percentile in our modern society. So to a certain degree, he is a prince in that context, but not the royalty prince. Okay, so moving on. And just to give a backdrop of our entire story, Siddhartha was loved by his parents. He is this amazing boy, a beautiful, handsome son of a Brahman. And his father loves him. Obviously, he's very learned. He speak the Om silently, the words to speak it silently into himself while inhaling, to speak it silently out of himself while exhaling. So he knows the both the disciplines and the practices of the priest class of whatever that was given to him and taught to him by his family and his elders and the leaders in his society. He has absorbed it properly, and so he's loved by his parents. He is given the best, I could just imagine, the best resources and the best life in his time. So it's not just that he was loved by his family, he was also loved by his friend Govinda. Not, I'm going to expand on that. Actually, I'm going to read something. But other than the love of his parents, his friend, he was also loved by the entire town. He was okay. Love touched the hearts of the Brahman's young daughters when Siddhartha walked through the lanes of the town. So every lady in town or girl in town, I don't know how old Siddhartha is during this time, but girls like him. So that's where the backdrop of our entire story is. And of course, like every great story, our hero has some desire that he wants to achieve. But going back to Govinda, just to uh, give us some understanding how much Govinda loved him, this is how Govinda loved him. So Govinda knew he would not become a common Brahman. He's referring to Siddhartha. Not a lazy official in charge of offerings, not a greedy merchant with magic spells, not a vain, vocus speaker, not a mean, deceitful priest, and not a distant, stupid sheep. More. In days to come, when Siddhartha would become a god, when he would join the glorious, then Govinda wanted to follow him as his friend, his companion, his servant, his spirit carrier, his shadow. So that's the level of love and affection that his friend Govinda is giving our hero, Siddhartha. Okay, now this is where the hero's journey began. Siddhartha was thus loved by everyone. He was a source of joy for everybody. He was a delight for them all. But he, Siddhartha, was not a source of joy for himself. He found no delight in himself. And then our hero's journey. So, what is our boy? What does he want? Obviously, he's not content. Um, to okay, to give you his words or how he looks at himself. This is what he said. The vessel was not full. He's referring to himself. The vessel was not full. The spirit was not content. The soul was not calm. The heart was not satisfied. So obviously, he wants more. He thinks that, in spite of all the knowledge and the teachings and all the guidance and all the love and affection that everybody's giving him, it was not enough. Ah, really, Siddhartha. Okay. And so this is his quest. Where was Atman to be found? Where did he reside? Where did his eternal heart? Where else but at one's own self, in its innermost part, in its indestructible part? This ultimate, this ultimate part, it was not flesh and bone. It was neither a thought nor consciousness. Thus the wisest ones taught. It had to be found. The pristine source in one's own self, it had to be possessed. So, our boy Siddhartha wanted more. He wanted to understand. He wanted to have a deeper connection of the Atman. The Atman is the ultimate. The word Brahman, by the way, is also the ultimate. It's like the ultimate God, the ultimate creator. The Atman is also the ultimate. And Brahman is, as I've already mentioned, is a priest class. So just take a note of that. Anyway, so our boy was loved, he was wealthy, he was treated, and he had the resources of the prince in his time. And yet he was not satisfied. He has his own quest. And then one day he was meditating with Govinda. And this is what he said. Om is the bow, the arrow is the soul, the Brahman is the arrow's target that one should incessantly hit. Yep. Yes. So obviously, our boy is obsessed with something. He wants to know more. Okay. And this is where it gets interesting because what do you expect a father who loves his son so much when his boy tells him that I'm going to leave? And this was interesting. Um, so after he said about he mentioned to Govinda about Om and the arrow, the soul, and wanting to hit the target, which is the Brahman. After that incident, or yeah, after that scene, he went to his father's hut and he was asking for permission to leave. And of course, his father doesn't want him to leave. I should have made another note on something else that was anyway. This is uh, instead of so this is how a Brahman, a well-educated priest would respond. So rather than just saying no, this is how he responded. Not proper for it again. Not proper it is for a Brahman to speak harsh and angry words, but indignation in my heart. I wish not to hear the request for a second time from your mouth. Ah, so that's how you say no. Okay? Okay, cool, cool, cool. And our boy, of course, because he was obsessed, he was um is if it's poker, he's like all in. He has pushed all his chips all in. So this is what he has done. He just stood there. Yeah, he actually just stood there. So from the afternoon up until late evening, up until the following day, he just stood there because this is a code. After hour after hour, silently, he looked into the chamber. His father, the Brahman, saw him standing, Siddhartha, in the same place, filled his heart. filled his heart with anger, filled his heart with unrest, filled his heart with anguish, filled it with sadness. Oh, our father, dad, is brokenhearted, of course. He loves his son, he doesn't want him to leave, but his son is adamant that he is going to leave. And this is, what is that? Mm, oh, this is part of the conversation that they had. The father said, Siddhartha, what are you waiting for? Siddhartha answered, you know what? Will you always stand that way and wait until it becomes morning, noon, and evening? I will stand and wait. You will become tired, Siddhartha. I will become tired. You will fall asleep, Siddhartha. I will not fall asleep. You will die, Siddhartha. I will die. Told you our boy is adamant. And would you rather die than obey your father? Siddhartha's always obeyed his father. Our boy also speaks in third person. So will you abandon your plan? Siddhartha will do what his father will tell him to do. So he's one of those people that talks in third person. And so, just to cut the story a bit shorter, he wants to go. His father doesn't want him to leave. And hour after hour, his father was checking whether his boy bulged already, but he was unwavering. He just stood there. And then this is like around dawn or morning, next day, the father touched Siddhartha's shoulders. Wait, the father touched Siddhartha. Wait, the father touched she. Wait, the father touched. Ah, I know how to read. Please, just wait. Okay, the father touched Siddhartha's shoulder. Okay, damn it. The father touched Siddhartha's shoulder. I told you I know how to read. Okay. And this is what he said. This is what the father said. You will. Okay. It's conceded. You will, he spoke. Go into the forest and be a samana. A samana is um, people who are dedicated or who have dedicated themselves into becoming seekers. To a certain degree, they're just religious seekers. They're seekers of truth. They own nothing. They just travel around. That's a samana. And the prince wanted to become one, samana. Okay, that's what he wanted to do, to live. And, well, not really that. He was in search for something deeper. And he thinks becoming a samana is a path, a good path to take to achieve his objective. Okay, let's go back. This is what his father said. You will, he spoke, go into the forest and be a samana. When you'll have found, when you'll have found, again, take two. Okay, you will, he spoke, go to the forest and be a samana. When you'll have found blissfulness in the forest, then come back and teach me to be blissful. If you'll find disappointment, then return and let us once again make offerings to the gods together. Go now and kiss your mother and tell her where you are going to. So the father eventually conceded. His heart is broken, but as you can see, he's very supportive, but he's also very open that in case his son would fail in his endeavor, he's still welcome in his kingdom. Okay, then as he slowly, so obviously our boy Siddhartha is free to start on his journey, and because he was standing there like the whole night. Obviously, his legs weren't working that fine. So as he slowly left on stiff legs in the first light of day, okay, so obviously it's the following morning. Um, First day, the still quiet town. A shadow rose the last tat who had crouched there and joined the pilgrim. You have come, said Siddhartha, and smiled. I have come, said Govinda. Now the journey begins. But this is just the first part. Um, See you next, or see you for part two. Ciao.